Joining us for a closer look at what's playing itself out in the market scene is independent analyst Odwa Magwentshu. Odwa, a happy Wednesday, I guess. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Good, good. We don't often hear people say they're amazing. Thank you for your time, Odwa. Not the best day in local markets, a little bit better in Europe. Let's take stock of what we're taking stock of today.
As you rightfully say, we started the day off quite nice on the upside, but also, we do come from all-time highs not so long ago, yesterday to be exact. So I think it's a bit of profit taking currently happening. However, if you look around the board, it's still been great performance, especially by the financial counters doing its rounds that side. So I do believe there could be some positivity in the markets as the day goes on.
Also, what we are seeing here is just another beating for miners, mostly platinum miners there. Is there a reason we're seeing that, or is it volatility as usual?
A bit of volatility as usual, but I think that it's just the industry, the cycle that they're in. Platinum and palladium prices are not performing at all on the upside at the moment. There isn't any much growth prospects as well for the platinum miners. So I do think that that's also, making its way, especially if you look at the contrast of how well gold has been performing. It doesn't seem like that is just at play at the moment.
Keen to get into some company news now. Maybe let's start abroad. Today is what I call NVIDIA Day. Many saying that this is a pretty important print that will emerge. The expectations here, Odwa, are high. And they're high because they've been met in the past before. And I can't stand to think what might happen if NVIDIA doesn't meet these expectations.
And I think that is the scary part about today as well. And, rightfully so, previously they have been beating all these high expectations already. So now today is going to be quite important. I think what's going to be very important to see if there's still continuous growth on the company side, especially for data centers, which seems to be the bread and butter at the moment. So I think that's going to be what we are looking out for. And also if there's, as I said, still expected continuous growth in terms of the demand for chips and AI. And we are currently in a process where, everyone is talking AI and they found a new gold, and NVIDIA is providing the shovel. So if people lose interest in the new gold, then that could be a hindrance for the company.
We'll be watching that one very closely. Another one coming out today, highly anticipated, is CrowdStrike. Now, those results are out, and we'll offer a look at the financial implications of that huge global cyber outage. The expectations on that front, Odwa?
I think, CrowdStrike, they have to just, the more important thing besides the financials, of course, is more depth in terms of what happened with that outage. I do expect that, the business might have some great results. Given who was affected when there was that outage, it does show that they do have quite a substantial reach, and that's what's exciting to see about today's results.
And very interesting indeed, Odwa. It's true. Now we know who that client base is. Also, another company that's what I will call local, but certainly global there, is Bidcorp. Absolutely excellent performance here. I guess this is a company that's also thrived on the back of a European summer.
100%. Bidcorp is very big on that front, Europe and UK as well as such. I'm quite impressed in the growth that they had, double digit across the board. Very strong numbers that they released today, showing that they, despite the, hiccups, for example, in the UK that they are facing, consumers are still going to Bidcorp for their needs. So the business has been positioned in a very good position, and now they also, based on these great results, also offering a nice special dividend as well, showing that it's also a good, I believe, close to 10 rands a share in year-on-year dividend. So there is quite some promise for the business in the upside.
I want to talk about that share price. It's just over 450 Rand. I'm wondering, based on just how well the performance seems to have emerged here, is this still a counter that is worth going into here, maybe looking at that forward PE and the prospects for the business?
For me personally, it's something else. I do think that it's a great business itself. It is growing quite aggressively, well diversified geographically across the world. Those things taken into account, it does look like a great investment opportunity. However, as you rightfully said, we might want to look at the forward PE and also more specifically the share price. Isn't it a bit expensive right now? Do you want to wait until it pulls back a bit more? Business-wise, the business is doing very well. They've got quite a substantial amount of cash on hand. They have been acquiring businesses across the board in previous years. So I think business is strong. If you have the appetite for it, I would also think it's worth looking at.
Another company that has been cheered on by markets today, up 1.9%, is PPC. Those shareholders in for some sort of a windfall there with a special dividend. Of course, PPC's story has been a rather strained one, but it does look like with the restructuring that we're seeing there, investors are seeing some value unlock. And I guess that's good news for now. I'm wondering if it's good news even in the future, where we're seeing PPC heading.
For the future, I think, we need a bit more upside. I mean, the restructuring was good. Upside in terms of the economy, in terms of, disposable income, people then go into building or that's when the PPC comes into play. I do think also if there is, with this new GNU, if there's an appetite to build on infrastructure, that's where the business could then benefit quite substantially from it. However, right now, it's a matter of just cost cutting and managing expenses.
Brilliant, Odwa. Let's go into our stock picks segment now. First, reflecting on counters that have found favor with industry peers.
I'm buying a London-listed sports and leisure and apparel retailer called JD Sports. They sell, as I say, a lot of shoes and apparel, specifically for active people. And it used to be a UK business mostly, and then they expanded into the rest of Europe. But the last few years, they've expanded aggressively and successfully into the US. So it's now a significant global apparel business. And the latest acquisition is Hibbett, which is a apparel chain that specializes in expensive shoes, trainers and other sports shoes in the US. And they bought that for just over $1 billion. Without issuing shares, so they put some debt on the balance sheet, but I think it's a good acquisition. And in a recent update 2 weeks ago, JD Sports said that the US operations are growing very nicely.
Study has got quite good top line potential, with that meaning they can grow actual number of learners, as well as increase the margins. If you look at the EBITDA margins, around 29%, that they were guiding between 29 to 33, perhaps even 35% of the time. So if you've got a good top line, worth expanding EBITDA margins, that means a very strong bottom line number. But very importantly for Study also, they've got very good cash generation. If you look at the cash conversion, relative to EBITDA is like over 130%. And that's because the J curve is a lot quicker in Study, which is predominantly distance learning compared to, for example, something like a Cura, which is building schools. Right, so that means shareholders will get big dividends in my view as well in Study over time.
My stock pick today is Cashbuild. I think I might be a little bit early on this one, but we had a pretty terrible trading statement a week ago. But prior to that, we had a sales update that showed that revenue actually grew. And what that tells me is that momentum has shifted positively on the top line. And I think that Cashbuild will be a beneficiary from some of the cyclical support we're getting to the South African economy, low inflation, lower interest rates, as well as an improvement in confidence because of some of the structural changes we're seeing. They could even be beneficiaries of two-pot retirement savings withdrawals in the fourth quarter of the year. So I think that the momentum now is positive on the sales side, and that should filter through nicely to the bottom line in time.
All right, I'd like keen to get your thoughts on some of those. We've got JD Sports Fashion, Stardew, and the Cashbuild.
Okay, I'll starting off with JD. I think it's a very interesting pick, especially in the industry that they're going into. You have the likes of Nike and Adidas, who are already giants there. However, they have been losing a bit of market share. So it's impressive to hear that they are, gaining market share in the United States of all places. So that is definitely a stock worth looking out for. Secondly, we're looking at Stadio. I think the educational sector is very hot at the moment, lack of better words. And I mean, any one of those are a favorite of mine. I do have a #1 spot, but I'm not going to mention now. And then lastly, cash build. Cash build on my side, as Chantal stated as well, that it is kind of going through a tough period. I would wait a bit more to see, you know, the two-part system, as she mentioned, and also interest rates dropping to first get implemented. Then I would look at it going forward.
Well, that's it. Which counter are you loving this afternoon?
This afternoon, I love Momentum, a great business. They've you know been growing quite aggressively in the recent years. Also love the rethink, reinvest and grow strategy that they've been implementing over the past 3 years, and we are seeing those benefits coming in. And the latest voluntary operational update was quite great to look at as well. So overall, they have been performing quite well and reaching 52-week highs recently, low PE. Everything's just looking great for this counter.
Brilliant, Odwa. Always a pleasure chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time today. That was your midday markets update with independent analyst Odwa Magwentshu.